Hello everybody and welcome to this. It's my first video on the 2017 onwards AQA GCSE English Literature exams. And in this video I'm going to begin by looking at Paper 1, Shakespeare and the 19th Century Novel. Now everything you see in this video comes from my ebook, which you can pick up at mrbruff.com or on amazon.co.uk for just £3.99. As well as being over 100 pages in length covering all of the literature exams, it also includes links to exclusive videos which you can only get access to through buying that ebook. Now, Paper 1 assesses one Shakespeare play and one 19th century novel. Your teacher will select the text you're studying. The Shakespeare play is going to be either Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet, The Tempest, The Merchant of Venice, Much Ado About Nothing, or Julius Caesar. The 19th century novel will be taken from either Frankenstein, Jekyll and Hyde, A Christmas Carol, Great Expectations, Jane Eyre, Pride and Prejudice, or The Sign of Four. And the exam is 1 hour 45 minutes in length. The paper is marked out of 64 with 30 marks available for section A, 30 marks available for section B, and 4 marks awarded for your spelling, punctuation and grammar in section A. You should spend around 50 minutes on each section, with perhaps an additional 5 minutes spent checking section A for technical accuracy. What I want to go over in this video though is that this is a closed book examination, which means that you're not allowed to take copies of those books into the exam with you. And this is one of the big changes from the previous GCSE, and it makes life a lot harder for students, although there will be extracts provided for analysis. So a typical exam paper, and we'll get to that, but a typical exam paper will have a sort of two-part question. There'll be an extract from the text and a question based on that extract. But then the second part of the question is going to ask you to apply the topic of that extract or the theme that's highlighted in that extract to the text as a whole, to the novel or the play as a whole. And as a result, you need to memorize quotations from those literature texts. And that's what I'm going to go through in this video. Memorizing quotations, selecting quotations and memorizing them. Now, when it comes to memorizing quotations, it's essential that you select quotations which apply to a broad range of themes and topics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an example looking at Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. Now, if you ask yourself, what are the major themes in this text? And you can ask yourself this of any text. In other words, what is the purpose of the author's writing? And I think the main themes in Pride and Prejudice, and these are all covered in my guide to Pride and Prejudice at mrbruff.com, are the genre. It's important to know about the genre, how it's a mix of romance and satire. It's important to know about the context of 19th century England, attitudes to women and men, love and marriage, class, the importance of the setting, the importance of the title, and Austen's use of structure. I would say when it comes to Pride and Prejudice, in the exam, those are probably the only things that you could possibly end up writing about. Those are the main areas of study. Okay, so knowing that, what you then have to do is say, okay, can I find some quotations which apply to as many of these themes, as many of these topics as possible? Okay, that's what you're looking for. So when you're studying a book, play, whatever it is, write down the list of themes and areas that you've been studying in school or that you've read about in my revision guides, and then see if you can find quotations which you could apply to all of those. Because what you don't want to do is memorize one quotation for each one and then go into the exam having to learn 8 quotations just for Pride and Prejudice. So let's have a think about it. If you look at the very famous opening line of the novel, it is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. Well, that quotation, as well as being very, very famous, fits into almost all of those topics. And this is what I would suggest you do, and this is in the ebook as well. You just draw out a grid and explain how it applies to your topic. So how does that quotation apply to the genre of romance and satire? Well, it is, of course, a tongue-in-cheek satirical comment in itself, which the narrator uses to mock Victorian attitudes to marriage. How does it relate to context? Well, again, Austen is using it to mock the prevalent attitude in England at the time that all rich men must be married because of their wealth. How does it link to attitudes to women? It suggests that women are an object to be sought. Attitudes to men, it suggests that what men want, men get, and highlights the theme of male dominance. Attitudes to love and marriage suggests that marriage is for wealth and status rather than love, and also suggests that money rather than love make a person marriage material. How does it link to class? It suggests that riches and wealth make a man good marriage material, and therefore middle and upper classes should be desired. How does it link to the title? Well, it links to the prejudice referred to in the title, the prejudice towards those with money. And structure, by using this as an opening line, it highlights just how important this notion is to our understanding of the rest of the novel. So you can see I can actually link that quotation to every single topic area that I feel is important in Pride and Prejudice, except the importance of setting. Now, all I need to do then is go and find a good quotation to do with setting. And that's what I suggest you do with your text. Try and find a quotation that fits as many as possible, then look at the gaps you've got left and find a quotation to do with them. So the importance of setting. You know, Pride and Prejudice is a text that doesn't have a lot of symbolism in it. But one of the examples of symbolism is found in the description of Pemberley, the description of where Mr. Darcy lives. And there's a quotation that is used to describe Pemberley that is a great quotation when it comes to the description of setting. So when Elizabeth goes to visit Pemberley, she is aware of the fact that it is beautiful but very natural and unadorned. And there's this quotation: "A stream of some natural importance was swelled into greater, but without any artificial appearance. Its banks were neither formal nor falsely adorned." And I think that's a really important quotation when it comes to setting in Pride and Prejudice, because this example of setting is also an example of symbolism. The setting of the grounds of Pemberley are used as a symbol of Mr. Darcy himself, who is not artificial, who is not falsely adorned. He's not fake. He's a realistic, warts and all human being. So I would say that's a great quotation about setting. So now what I've managed to do is get every single theme and topic that I think I might have to write about in the exam and shrink those topics down to 2 quotations. And I would shrink this one a little bit further. I would probably just remember its banks were neither formal nor falsely adorned. And that, alongside the previous quotation about it is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. And all of a sudden I can now go into the Pride and Prejudice exam knowing only 2 quotations, but feeling really confident that I can answer any exam question. There are other ways to do this. You can look at characters and how they link to the themes, and that's what I'll look at in the next video. But when you have got this short list of quotations you need to remember, you can then put them together to help you remember them. And if you stay subscribed to this channel, I will be making songs to help you remember the quotations, just as I've done in the past with Of Mice and Men. So do stay subscribed, but that's the way to choose and select your quotations to memorize for the closed book exams.